Please vote. Okay. We're live. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025, and this is the House Republican Caucus meeting after our sexual harassment prevention training. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
This is not on. Okay, good. So just a few things from our leadership meeting this morning. Next Tuesday, we will have another. Can you hear me? So next Tuesday, possibly have another effort for training on human resources, and ethics, combined training similar to what we had today, sexual harassment prevention. Committees are going to get security training. Agatha is going to be coordinating them. You'll do that in your committee. And those will be done by as a associate because they're security training. And attendance was taken today. And if you weren't at today's, which I think everybody was, we did a head count for our caucus. You would be able to watch that via Zoom. So next week, for whatever reason, if you're not available, you would need to take that training via Zoom. Some decorum items. You need to stay seated until the speaker actually gavels us out. Once she hits the gavel, and then you can get up and get all your stuff ready. Then, but don't start fiddling around before she is actually gaveled us out. Water bottles are to remain underneath your desk. There is a shelf underneath there. Nothing is on the top of your desk, no water bottles. The only thing you can have is your laptop, iPad, or paper that you're writing on. Another one is when you're gonna get emails from the speaker or from other individuals that are asking you to sign on to a bill. Please do not reply at all. Just reply to the person that actually sent it. For instance, we've gotten a couple from Troy Hedberg on a few things, the Union Soccer, which by the way, I just want to make sure everybody's aware, I did an all House Republican sign on, so you do not need to sign anything. I just automatically did that. And I will do that on resolutions that come up like that, which just kind of no brainer. So I just sign them. I just let my insurance know how all House Republicans will sign on. So you don't have to worry about that union side. And as there will be one coming in a few short weeks, possibly for Kurt McCormick, former rep, Kurt McCormick, as well as former rep Don Turner. So that's up on those. That's all I have. Okay, calendar journals. They're usually, I guess they're having an issue, BGS is having an issue, isn't help getting help. So historically, we've had those and they get all the bills and the calendars for the next day by 4 a.m. and they print them between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. and they're in the state house by then, and then the green jacket guys come around with the pages and they place them on the desks of those people that have asked for a hard copy. Otherwise, they're available on the table in front of the speaker's desk. So we are with them. It's going to take a little bit of time before that kind of starts gelling again.
Just on the BCC as well, when you set up, oh, you didn't say that?
Yeah. And then I need to give Jim Harrison 30 seconds before he has to do that.
And what about the agenda? They used to be able to pick it up,
The calendar,
calendar,
same, that's the issue.
same problem.
So,
Yeah, just real quickly, As many of you know, Representative Noyes and I are introducing a bipartisan bill to phase out the Vermont income tax on social security benefits. I'm not sure what Ways and Means will end up doing for it, obviously it depends on revenue and expenses or state spending. Nonetheless, we are turning it in later today. There is over 50, 60 co-sponsors. If you never responded and you want to be on here, please email me soon. So last call for co-sponsors. I know Dan is doing the same thing at Democratic Caucus. So if you're interested in not having, please let us know. We are going to, we met yesterday with AARP. They're going to come out in full support of that bill as well. So anyhow, email me in the next couple hours.
Jim,
Yeah.
is that the same one you called me about? You called me, helps.
I did.
Yeah.
Did you said, how was that conversation?
Yeah. I signed on to another bill. You wanted me to sign on.
Oh, maybe I can check to see if, make sure you're on.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, just a reminder for chairs and vice chairs, we have a 2 p.m. meeting, and I believe that it is. Yeah, they haven't told us yet. It's over here somewhere. Maybe. So, open it up now to anybody. Does anybody else have any other questions before we just briefly talk about bills? Mike?
It's just, I know I saw Michael Churchill come all this morning, he's getting ready for the Don tournament.
Of course, yes, he did. Yeah.
Got it.
Just informational too, when we're talking about bills, if you don't get the packet, that's fine, but down next to the room downstairs, lounge, you'll see where all those bills, Senate bills and House bills, if you want a copy of those, you can grab those down there, right outside that lounge area.
I'll see you soon. Yeah, and additionally, Tony and the stores right outside would see the bag where bills will be. If you need one printed out, you don't see it out there, we would gladly print it out for you until we get into the many in each one of those little spots. So I'm not quite sure if anyone has any bills that they have introduced that they would like to let the Caucus know or possibly sign on to. Larry?
Woody and I have made a couple of bills. One is the protection of veterans benefits from the scammers, for those who are alleging that they don't get them more benefits. Pretty straightforward. The other one is the campaign financing. This will probably get some pushback. We put this one together because our seats aren't for sale. And there are people out there, campaign candidates, who are very popular, out of state, don't they? They approached $100,000 for rent. And how to spend it on their campaigns, whether it's video, TV, whatever. This is just for reps. It's not for the government. It's not for the government. Reps and senators. Anybody wants to read them, eat them out and sign on to them. We'd really appreciate it. I think they might get some traction.
And then as a reminder, January 31st is the last day to have a short form or the draft bill in, and then you have from January 31st to I want to say like February 20th to actually get the bill into to have it submitted.
So any bill requests we have till the end of the month to get those.
You have a couple weeks to get signatures on. Yes.
So we get another 3 weeks.
Yes.
Close.
I have a few bills, some of them you may recognize from.
Can people here, you want them to come up to the mic?
That's my.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have a few bills you might recognize from other bienniums, requiring secondary school students personalized learning plans to include all military options available for career and workforce planning purposes. Next one is removing the sunset, can't even spell, on the pilot and expansion of the National Guard tuition benefit program. That's been very successful, so we would like it to continue. The third one is exempting National Guard housing and subsistence allowances from state income tax. And the fourth one is requiring the Agency of Education to study the need and feasibility of having a licensed athletic trainer at all secondary school athletic practices and competitions. I'd be happy to talk with any of you about any of these bills. I do not have an electronic sign-on, but I'll send you a reminder on your emails that I have these bills, and I'd like to get them in soon. There is one other bill that's going around that I think someone else is actually going to lead sponsor, and it's a dietitian compact bill, dietitian license compact, which is very helpful for folks who move in and out of various states. For instance, military personnel who need to get their license quickly in a new state. If your state belongs to a compact, it's much easier to get your license in a new place of residence. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just a clarity point, because I know you and I talked about it on your.
The military.
Yes. So what Lisa's bill's talking to, so if you're a military member serving on orders, like if you're a guardsman serving on either AGR, active guard reserve orders, or an extended period, I think once you exceed 30 days, you get that BAH, they call it basic allowance for housing, which also includes a per diem amount. That is a non-taxable entity. What Lisa's bill is addressing is state active duty, and state active duty is if the governor says, hey, another flood, I need the following 300 guardsmen activated to support operations to clean up whatever. That's state active duty because the governor has asked for it. The state pays the pay and allowances for those members out of state monies. It would, right now, am I correctly saying those are the ordinarily what's not taxed when somebody's in a military status for their housing and the rations allowances are not taxed, but in the state capacity they are, and she's trying to get that excluded as well at the state level.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I think is important. If you're putting in somebody in that role, I think that's important to be tax exempt, just like it is in a federal role. That's my humble opinion, but.
Thank you.
So. I have a bill that, proposes, that the Human Services Board implement transparent, user-friendly hearing proceedings, including allowing the aggrieved person the opportunity to speak without interruption. And also, telling the Human Services hearing officers that they can't let the lawyer from the agency when they're there to interrupt them by saying objection. Then the hearing officer says objection sustained, that shuts the people up. Joe on the street needs to go to these hearings and be able to speak and be heard, rather than it's like a courtroom. And I've got extensive experience with this, with constituents going there. It's not fair to them. So that's what this bill is all about. And I don't know whether somebody already mentioned this or not, but I have another bill that's in the pipe. It'll be out pretty quick, excluding veterans' benefits from taxation. Their retirement. I think that would be an economic development tool for the state. Veterans' retirement not to be taxed.
That's the bill I've got.
I know I'm signed up to it, but I have another one coming up that was in process. No, I might, committing on this.
So, yeah, Mary has one, this bill can't be given, sort of the story. That's one of those,
Is
yeah.
that one?
That's what Mary is doing. Yeah. Doing.
I have a couple of bills. I have the bill I have in hand right now, which, it's for a tax deduction for the home study for families that, have their children enrolled in home study, $1,000 tax deduction for each student in their household. That's enrolled in home study. Home study is a really important part of the way Vermont educates, and, it's really important, I think, for the amount of money that it costs to actually still home study. You're also paying your property taxes at the same time, so. I have that one in hand if anybody wants to sign it. Also have one coming up, I don't know, PC, have you received any other? It's basically for home study as well, but it's to try to figure out ways for driver's education to happen for students that are home studying. Right now, we have to actually go to the public school at times or but towards the end of the wait list on there, so it'd be more of an online situation where through that fulfill their drivers and remarkings. And the last one that I have coming around that is a EPR, which is an extended producer responsibility situation for automotive tires, which would make the producers of the tires liable for their recycling or taking them back without cost to individuals. They're going to minus huge problems with this sort of tires on the side of those. Which leads to obviously pollution, also the helpers, mosquitoes, breeding, with all the different virus going around right now, it's lots of stuff. That'll be coming soon, but the one I have in my hand right now is the tax deduction one, so anybody want.
That bill for the tires will be applauded by every farmer with a bunker site in the state of Vermont. I can't tell you how many times you go up and you find, and we have ample tire. We all have ample tire. You pull up, you find a truckload of tires dumped at your farm.
Sorry.
And then we're liable to get it.
Get rid of them somehow.
And thank you for that.
You'll have to come up front.
Anyone looking there should be up front.
Yes.
Larry, I have a few more bills. But the first one that I'd like to address is a latent crisis. I'd like to name definitely a latent crisis. Also, the criteria for latent crisis. One of the items is that the value of property has to drop before a lake can be labeled a latent crisis. So I would like to eliminate that particular item. So that's one of them. The next bill is to give municipalities more authority on some of the properties in their downtown designation. Basically, it gives the municipality more power to tell the owner of premise that's been ignored and hasn't been kept up to the shape that it should be in the document. So that gives the municipality authority to, make some changes and help the property. And then finally, another veterans bill is certain disability benefits. Right now, veterans who have not filed their appropriate paperwork with the Veterans Association, many of them are getting monies for burn pit disabilities. There's a great deal of money out there. There are a lot of scams out there. This bill
It's basically directing veterans to only go to veteran-approved areas for assistance in filing their paperwork. Many cases, veterans, when they get out of the military, they're not interested in filling out the proper paperwork for anything. They just want to get out, get on with their lives. And it's only after later on, after a few years that they've been out, that they find that they have an injury from when they were in service. So this basically directs those veterans to serve individuals that can help them. Thank you.
Anyone else before Mark?
Thank you, Patty. I had sent out an email quite a while ago, so many of you responded, and I certainly appreciate that. Because this is a public caucus, I think it's important to hear what's coming out. So a lot of these are bills that have been put in previously by other legislators, and I'm kind of carrying on with them. 3 of them are in regards to vaccinations. And any questions, you can certainly reach me afterwards, and I appreciate everybody that's reached out already. But again, the first one is prohibition on discrimination based on your vaccination status. During the pandemic, you may have heard about a lot of folks that were denied jobs or lost their jobs because of that. The other one was an adverse reactions report, CDC report about it. It needs to come back and have the legislature, the Senate, and House take a look at it. And then the third one in that regard is a health decision and bodily autonomy bill. Again, specifying that the government can't make you inject anything or take any health care provisions that aren't acceptable to you. It's also a parental rights provision in that too, to make sure that parents obtain parental rights for the child's best situations. Then I've had it. This is the second biennium of total repeal of the Global Warming Solutions Act. A lot of folks are looking for that out there. It goes back to goals and comprehensive energy plan. Again, more questions about that, and certainly happy to answer those. I also have a repeal of Vermont following California's clean car standard, and that's where 2026 car dealerships have to have a certain percentage of EVs on their lots, whether or not they sell them. And then by 2035, there will be no new internal combustion engine vehicles sold in the state of Vermont. So again, that's another one that I believe is critical that we need to move away from. Law enforcement survivors benefit. Currently, firefighters and EMS have this. It was basically brought up because it was Jessica Ebbinghausen in Rutland, who lost her life at a very young age on duty. It would allow this benefit for law enforcement. Well, some history behind that, to talk about that. Another one that came out from a prevention lawyers meeting, as well as forest products industry. If you're aware of the 30 by 30 50 bill that was passed in regards to conservation of 30% of Vermont's land by 2030, 50% by 2050. Real concern for loggers, the forest products industry, that with all the other things that are out there, whether it's carbon sequestration models for landowners, whether it's no cutting, whether it's old growth forests, there's all these pushes out there. It's a real concern to the industry. So what this bill is going to do is it's going to include the over 2 million acres current use. It's currently in current use in that designation, one way or another. So designation of its own. Even though it's not in perpetuity forever conserved, it is conserved land to a certain degree. So I'd like to see the whole thing repealed, but again, stepping back, this is one piece that might help folks. And then lastly, I've been involved with the Convention of States resolution. It's you may have heard about it. It's Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. It allows for a convention of states after a certain number of states sign on to it. It's regards to term limits for federal legislators. I went to a convention down in Virginia in regards to that. A lot of people are supporting that, and looking for that again. Again, I can say it's probably not gonna happen here for a while. But anyway, it's an opportunity, and love to talk to people about that on the phone. It's pretty amazing. So thank you very much.
All right. Your bill to, put the current use lands, are you including agricultural current use lands or just forestry?
No, it would be both.
It'll be both, great. Do they consider Vermont Land Trust contracted lands, you know, the development rights have been sold? Do they already consider that in a 30 by 30, 50 by 50?
I don't know that for sure. You know, I would think they would, especially if it's in conserved land for in perpetuity for that. To me, is conserved land. You're gonna get any more conservative than that.
I agree with you. I just wondered if that was in there.
And there'll be other considerations. Anytime a bill gets, if it gets taken up in committee, there's a lot of testimony on that. And I know initially in this particular bill, Lunch Council asked me, what category should you put this land in? Should it be in a category of its own? We didn't write off, but it could be in a category of its own. I had another member talk about, what if people remove land from the current use? Well, what's it be removed from the 30 by 30, 50 by 50 calculations? So there's a lot of things that can be worked out. They get to starting point.
Yeah, if that's concerning ag and forestry, it ought to come to Leland's committee that he's the ranking member on, just saying. On your removing California standard off our automobiles. We've got to put the class 7 and class 8 trucks on that as well. We got to do it.
We have talked about that, and I'm looking at it in the Lunch Council as well.
Thank you.
Mark?
Yes. Yep.
Does the 30-30 and 50-50 designation include the 400,000+ acres of the Green Mountain National Forest?
You know, I'm not that familiar with whether or not it does. It certainly should. But again, it's, I guess what concerned me in debate on the floor was when over 75% of Vermont's land is privately owned, how are we gonna achieve this? And the answer was, it's gonna be voluntary. And my concern with that is, there's more than one way to make things voluntary. One thing is property tax is so high, people can't afford them anymore. And the other thing is zoning restrictions that you can't do anything with your land. And I think they're doing both. So that's a real concern. And so again, this initial initiative was one of President Biden's first executive orders. It's basically a UN resolution as well. So it's real concerning to, as I said, forest products and loggers, and trying to keep our land used rather than completely destroyed.
Okay, anything else? Kevin?
Ignorant question, freshman. I see signatures on certain bills. I think I've acknowledged online, an opportunity to co-sign online. How are they're always both those methods? What's the best way to, I mean, how do we know that we're seeing them all and having an opportunity to do them all?
So, like, Mark, email, several emails from Jim Harrison.
Yes.
On his. So if you say sign, we'll sign you on. But you need to reach out to him to do that. Mark has, I don't know, Mark has his bills here today, but I saw many people coming up with pink envelopes. And they have the pink envelopes, they have a draft bill and sign up sheet right there. So you can hook up with these people today, right after here, or see them in the cafeteria. You have, I mean, it's, I want to say that look to me, but don't hold me to that as a final date solution.
So it's up to us individually to catch up with individuals and sign it on a piece of paper. There's no one spot where you can go and see them all.
And Mark, do you have?
Initially, I worked it through emails, And then I said, well, it might be better to have the sign up sheets. But I'm finding it harder with the sign up sheets, because I just don't have the time to reach out to each. And so that's why it's so important for you folks to look at those through email or listen to me today, understand whether you want to learn more about it, and then come to me. I'd like to particularly get these possibly in on Thursday or later on Friday. I'm gonna make an offer for 3 weeks, so again, it's up to you for it to be, do your best to investigate. So it's awful tough time wise to reach out to the.
Thank you.
And also for freshmen, this is called the Pavilion Office Building, attached to the Vermont History Museum. The governor's on the 5th floor. The treasurer's office is on the 4th floor. And I know, state retirement might be on the 3rd floor or something, or the AG's office is on one of the here as well. So this is the new auditorium. They did have an auditorium in the basement that we used for many years, but because of the flood this past year, the year before, I don't think that they will be used for several years now. Because they just got the elevators working like last February and stuff. So this is, you can see it when you're up in the State House, the 5th floor, you can see that others up there. So any other questions before we get to Brendan?
Being a newbie, I see, the bills people are presenting, but I'm a money person. How do you know the cost that goes along with that bill? Because that would make a big difference to me.
So it may say in the bill that this bill provides for 2 new workers or 2, it should say in the bill. Historically, I think one of the things around $100,000 or so. That will, once it passes through a committee, it has, if there's an appropriation attached, it has to go to our House Appropriations Committee in order to say whether we're going to fund the positions that are actually in that bill. So,
But see, that would make a difference to me because I went and signed on to a bill that was going to burden the taxpayer.
right, so you need,
No way to buy it.
and you need to read the bill. However, once that bill gets drafted and sent along to a committee, that committee may decide to completely change that bill and add whatever they want or take off whatever they want. So when we sign on to it, it may not necessarily be the same bill and ends up being passed out to the floor.
It also goes to ways and means. It also goes to ways.
Yeah, there's a tax involved, yes. Taxes or fees involved with the go ways and means. James.
So I would offer advice to new people. When in doubt, don't sign. It's better safe than sorry to get into a situation where you sign for something you think it looks great and find out, oh boy, this isn't something I really agree with. Always err on the side of caution. And you can have private conversations, not reply all emails with the individuals doing the bill. Maybe they can point you to joint fiscal, who they're dealing with. Maybe they said, I don't know, I have no idea. Just look into that part. But you can ask those questions. But when in doubt, err on the side of caution. You'll have a chance to, maybe vote for it later, probably when it come off the wall. But you'll have the chance later to have your voice. But if you're not sure what's going to be introduced as a bill, just be cautious. Just don't sign. It's not going to hurt you. But you could go down the wrong road if you sign a wrong bill that is against your values.
And I also know the example of Representative Brennan and Senator Brennan, the transportation bill that he put in used to be on transportation, shared transportation. And it was taken off the wall and became the cannabis bill. So.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, and given that, is it possible to remove your name from sponsorship once the sponsorship goes to?
I think it's
Yeah, possible, but.
yes. Any other questions? Okay, great. Oh,
You talked about the beginning of it, want to take your name off.
so you should go to the clerk of the house. That's the mess.
But you also can vote against the bill if it comes out in a negative manner, like if it comes out.
Okay, you can take